Hello there. I'm your morning witch at the Liminal. I don't know, maybe I just gotta give up the morning witch thing. I keep going to bed a couple hours before the sun comes up, so I don't know if I'll ever get back to recording in the morning. I had thought about starting to record before I go to bed, but then what's my motivation to get ready? I don't know. Anywho, today is Thursday, January 29th. And before we get into it, maybe let's go ahead and get present. All right, so let's get present in the moment. We're going to take a breath in through our nose. We're going to hold it. We're going to get present in this moment. We're going to let it out through our mouth. Hello, happy Thursday. Okay, so here's what I want to bring into everyone's attention, okay? Today's Practical Magic Thursdays, so very practical for our magic is our energy. So when others are using our energy, our manifestations really don't have as much access to it now, do they? So let's get into that. Maybe you have an energy vampire that just likes to feed on your energy. Well, guess what? Unless you're like a willing participant, that energy is being fed upon and siphoned off of you, which means the energy that is feeding any of your workings, your protections, your wards, your prosperity magic, any of your energy that is going into these things, if you have somebody feeding on your energy, trying to take your power, it's being taken away from those things. So energy vampire was my first thought in that. But there's also if you have somebody in your life, whether they're a friend or an acquaintance or a partner, who's constantly gimme, I need your attention, I need your attention, I need your attention, that also siphons on your energy, tries to take some of your power for itself to have that little bit of control, but in so doing removes that power from where it otherwise would be within yourself and feeding that which you feed. And when I say feeding that which you feed, I mean your things that you intentionally feed, like your workings, your manifestations, your intentions. And if my energy is constantly being taken off of me in one of these manners or more, because an energy vampire can siphon it off. Somebody who wants your attention so they can have a little bit of control over it, they siphon it off. There's also people who intentionally take your power. They want your power. Maybe you're easier to control if you're docile. Maybe they get their rocks off on it. Maybe they know that by taking your power, they're impeding your power, whether you realize it or not. Right? And again, as our power is being taken for whatever reason, okay, there's all sorts of reasons that people would siphon our energy. But that energy is now not going to the things we want it to go to. So Practical Magic Thursdays, think about that. How you spend your energy is important and it matters, even in ways of how you're choosing to spend it versus not your choice. Also, what you pay attention to goes into this equation, because if somebody wants to take your energy but you're not allowing them into that sphere, guess what? They don't get it, right? But if you, whether you don't realize their intentions or you have no idea that they're an energy member, whatever the case may be, when you're letting them in and feeling them take your power and still letting them come back for more, I'm not victim blaming. I'm not saying oh, you did this to yourself, but that's a way that they're getting in. You can cut that off. I'm not saying be toxic and cut off everybody in your life. Please don't misunderstand. Go listen to the whole video again a couple of times if you need to get that whole linear thought process, okay? Because it's not just be oh, I'm cutting all the fuckers off. That's not today's talk. That's not what we're talking about at all. I will probably never talk about that, because equally important today I was going to think about talking about the magic of human relationships, which I have talked about before, but I know I have new viewers, so it's very important to me, the magic that exists within the relationships that we hold with each other. So again, I'm not saying blanket say fuck you to folks, But do protect your energy, because your energy is what you put into your magic and your workings and your manifestations and your intentions. And if you expect anything to come to fruition, you kind of need your energy and power for that. Have a good day.